Must be a good sign. It started itself up very quickly today. Yes, I'm half an hour early. We got visitors coming, or a visitor actually. And I just want to make sure I get this done in good time. It's good once again to have someone who's writing the daily guide for today as being someone that I know somewhat, never met in person, but I've met them on Zoom. So that's always kind of cool. Let me tell you a little bit about the daily guides for September of 2021 had this as their intro. When I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I'm afraid. And that was Audre Lorde. So who is the mystery writer for today? It's Reverend Dr. Raymond Anderson, who appeared as a guest on our soul session earlier this year. Very interesting. He said about the September issue that it was sparked by influential folk songs of the American Civil Rights Movement. Keep your eyes on the prize, reaching higher and being open at the top. Each is about showing up in the world as a powerful catalyst of conscious evolution. And he says, this clarion call invites us individually and collectively to be the change and to be the physical demonstration of faith and the truth this teaching offers the world. As of 2021, September 20, he was then the senior minister of CSL Greater Baltimore. I'm not sure if he's still there or not, but he's still very active as a minister in Centers for Spiritual Living. And he's got an eclectic background. One of the things that comes out actually in the reading is that he's been a public school teacher. But what comes out is in the American Sign Language, he's an interpreter. And he's also an American Sign Language performing artist. He's a university professor more, his PhD. I forgot what it's in. And he says, if you look at him now, you'll see someone who's devoted to his kids, his grandkids, and to his spiritual community, to Centers for Spiritual Living, to Science of Mind, to creating art, to teaching, and to living his bliss as an active, what does that stand for? ACTIVE, authentic, compassionate, transparent, inspired, vibrant, empowered member of society. It says, look at his future and you'll see someone dedicated to leaving a legacy of authentic power and to healing, while being a divine disruptor, manifesting a world that works for all. And if you want to get hold of him, it's Raymond, RAYMONT, Anderson, ANDERSON.com. So that's a little bit about him there. So let's see what he's got to offer us. So what he's got to say for today, or back in September of 2021. Ludwig Wittgenstein says, and I didn't look him up, the limits of my language mean the limits of my world. The limits of my language mean the limits of my world. And Ernest Holmes in Pray and Prosper on page 39, I don't know that particular publication. Our words should be the outcome of a deep inner conviction that goes beyond words, but which at the same time gives birth to them. So we'll come back to that, probably. And this is Reverend Raymond. He says, refrain from negative thinking. Pretty simple, right? But why are we so readily apt to define negative as bad and positive as good? A battery needs the negative and the positive charges to produce electrical power. Our lives also need the negative charge of yin and the positive charge of yang to produce the power to reach higher. This is where the ASAL comes in. As an interpreter in the deaf community, I learned quickly that there are many signs that convey a multitude of concepts, and the manner in which each is signed can easily alter the meaning of the word. People often ask for the sign for something, and I learned to always reply, Use the word in a sentence. I need the concept you're seeking to express. Then he says the word run is often used as an example. Run to the store, run for president. Very appropriate right now, yeah? Hey, run in your stocking. Cars won't run. Allergies make your nose run. Each of these uses a different sign. How often do we use words without really aiming for a more effective and accurate expression? We may say someone is too negative to be friends with, when what we actually may mean is they complain too much or they don't speak in life-affirming ways. What might our lives become if we expressed our words with the efficacy that Bible passages convey? And then he quotes actually from the beginning, the Gospel of John. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. That's the opening of the Gospel of John, in case you either didn't know or you've forgotten. Reverend Raymond Anderson, PhD, published September 2021. I've got to really think about this. Well, let's go back to Holmes here. Our words should be the outcome of a deeper inner conviction that goes beyond words, but which at the same time gives birth to them. So in other words, we connect with our source first, and then the words come, and then the words have meaning in relationship to what we're thinking and feeling. And then he goes on to talk about how you need to keep things in context. He's using American Sign Language as an example here, but it could be anything. He's saying, you need to keep things in context. And when he talks about words, then if you've ever learned a foreign language, then you know one thing for sure. It's really not a good idea to translate things literally. Because as he's saying, it's the concept that counts and not necessarily the individual words. And if any of you are non-English speakers and you've started learning English, then for sure you know that you cannot take the words literally. You've really got to use context. And I'll give you an example, actually, from Shakespeare, which I've used before. In Romeo and Juliet, which I'm sure you've all heard of, whatever language you originally started with, at one stage, Juliet is speaking to Romeo and saying, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Well, it's kind of confusing if you don't know what she really means, because he's there, he's right in front of her. But what she's saying to him is, whose side are you on? So in addition to not taking things literally, you've also got to know the context, and that's what he's talking about here. But more to the point, how does that affect us today? Well, maybe we should just look at his affirmation and see how that works. Today, I use my words to speak accurately, effective, and powerfully. That's one. My word is the word of the divine, and right now demonstrates as my life and my experiences. Bottom line is this: think before you speak. Think before you speak. And then think what the words mean to you. And sometimes, he doesn't say this, but sometimes the best thing you can do is to say nothing. Really. I mean, how many times have you been in what could have been potentially been an argument? Or maybe you've been in an argument. Why? Because somebody said something and you reacted to it. You didn't respond, you reacted. So oftentimes, when you're in this kind of situation, the best thing, at least initially, is to say nothing. And one trick that a lot of people use, or like me, a mediator or their interpreters or whatever, they would say to people, well, tell me more. Tell me more is it's always a great way to actually interface with people. So that's one way. Reverend Raymond is looking at this, I think, on two levels. One is the individual level, but the other is the greater level. And just saying, speak after you've thought what you really mean. So I would say this: if you have really important decisions to make about yourself or about the world in general, then at least take some quiet time and think what it is. And then also, you didn't really say it here, but speak up. Sometimes you just got to speak up. And we won't always be popular doing that. So one great expression my wife was reminding somebody of earlier today is this. And I think Wayne Dyer said it initially, or he got it from somewhere. What you think about me is none of my business. What you think about me is none of my business. So this is what I made of this. You may make something different out of it. Important announcement. Yes, Reverend Lisa will be on tomorrow at 9 a.m., which is an important announcement. And the announcement's about our service. Our service tomorrow, the talk will be given by a really great speaker called Arthur Johnson. He's a former Baptist minister who came over to Science of Mind. He is a great speaker. I guarantee, I told the people last week in the room, you will not go to sleep while he's speaking. You won't. He's interesting, he's alive, he's engaging. 11 o'clock tomorrow on our Facebook page, Creative Life Center's Facebook page. There will be a live broadcast, our service, and Reverend Arthur Johnson will be the speaker. How about that? I already read out the affirmation. I'm going to sign off now because we have a visitor coming hopefully shortly. She's from Brazil, so time may be a little fluid, but we'll see. So I will see you tomorrow. Remember, Reverend Arthur Johnson tomorrow, 11, Reverend Lisa at 9 o'clock, and I'll see you then. Bye.